What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's analysis. We're going to be looking at MSTR and Bitcoin today. So we're down a little bit. We had some geopolitical issues going on, and the entire market, took a little dump. I think it's going to just be a temporary scare, in my opinion, but of course I could be wrong. Bitcoin ended up touching one of the key levels that we were speaking of in yesterday's video. I'm making a video now because I'm at work, so I have to make it in the morning because I'll probably be busy throughout the day trying to get one out every single day, and this is the most convenient time for me. Bitcoin touched that key level that we're talking about, and we'll go over that later in this video. And right now we're currently down at 372 on MSTR. When you take a look here, you can see we're still within our large range, so really nothing's changed. I do think we need to take a look on a larger scale and kind of zoom out a little bit and remind ourselves about where things could potentially be going. Of course, it does not have to play out perfect. But if we were to take a fib from here, from the top of here to this area right there, actually we can pull it down a little bit further. You can see in this first leg that we had, when you pull this fib, this blow off top pulled up almost to the 3272. And if you look here on this leg as well, you can see that price almost made it to the 3272 as well. So it touched the 3, but it fell just shy of the 3272 on this leg here. And then if you were to pull for this leg here, what if we land shy of the 3272, but we make it above the 3? That's extremely bullish, I understand, but my point is that we're more than likely going to see higher prices, and I just feel like we got to zoom out sometimes, because when you're so focused on the short-term price action, you can kind of forget what's potentially going to come. And even if we don't hit those price targets, just understand that we're more than likely going to go higher. And it's always tough, in the middle of it. When you're in the middle of all the sideways action and falling down, it makes it tough to be bullish and remain positive. So I totally understand. People can be frustrated. I'm frustrated as well. But we got to keep a level head through these times, and I think we'll end up being okay. But we have this first flagpole here, measures out this one. If you measure it out again, we're just going based off of TA, pure TA, that's it, and how it's played out in the past. When you look here on the daily on Bitcoin, you can see this is the zone that we were speaking of, this downward sloping trend line that we broke out of. We were saying yesterday that potentially we could be retesting this breakout zone, because we never really got a true breakout and retest. We just kind of broke out and then took off. So let's see if we actually get the retest from this area here. That's exactly what ended up happening. We ended up getting that retest, and we kind of shot back off of it, and it was just a perfect timing with the geopolitical issues going on. We got to bounce off of it. Let's see what happens. We still have 12 hours for the daily close, so we'll see where things go. But that also coincided with this key level of support. So you had 2 levels of support underneath price, and it was this downward sloping trend line and this horizontal level of support, as well as the 50-day moving average. We bounced right off of that. So that was a lot of confluence underneath price to push it back up. But you can see we're underneath our 20, so we might have some resistance breaking back through this level, because now you have this horizontal level of support. This is really a large zone here, so you have this zone along with this 20-day SMA above our head right now, which we need to break above, close, potentially retest, and then make our way back up. But if we do make our way back up, when you look to the left, it should be a clean move. It should be a clean move up, because when you look to the left, there's really just clean candles that have happened. So I would imagine once we get above this zone, we should be able to move pretty freely up to the top of this range here. Also, when we take a look at the 8-week EMA, you can see we almost came into contact with it, so that was more confluence for a bounce. There's plenty of things supporting price, and honestly, it kind of just makes sense in TA when you look. If this is a bull flag, like we said, we think it is, then this should continue chopping sideways and eventually break out to the upside. And like we already spoke about, this is a bull flag, and we were to break out, and if that's our theoretical bottom for this flag or breakout, our breakout point, it should take us all the way up to 150,000. When, I have no clue. If this is a bull flag, it makes sense. But we have to also keep in mind, you could be looking at a double top. So you got to keep everything in mind. I don't rule anything out because anything can happen. But you can also see that this is starting to form, but it does not have to play out like that. And that's here on the weekly. So that's a large time frame double top. And we also have this double top being formed on a smaller scale as well. Just in here, you can see that. We'll see where things take us though here on Bitcoin, but I think we still should see higher prices. Maybe this was enough to shake anyone out before making our way up. That's typically what Bitcoin likes to do before it makes moves up. I'm not saying that it's going to happen soon or right now, but I feel like I tend to see some kind of sharp drop before the takeoff. So just within this period here from February 2023 or March 2023, you can see examples of having a sharp drop and then a pretty decent move to the upside. So you can see off of this drop, you can see 58% off of this drop here. You can see 90% off of this drop here. You can see 120%. And this one was, it's not even sharp, honestly, but it would probably honestly be counted off of this one here. It wouldn't even be the one that we just got yesterday. It'd be this candle. So what if we got a 50% move? This was our sharp drop before pushing up higher. That would take us up to about 146, 150,000. And like I said, that's not even a very significant drop. And when we look at Tether Dominance, we pushed back up, and it looks like we're getting rejected from the same level again. And hopefully we make it back down again. That'll be bullish, of course, for Bitcoin. It looks like we're creating some kind of bear flag, if you see that. You can see we have this, and then we got the flag pattern going. And a measured move to the downside will take us to roughly like 4.2 or something like that. We'll see, of course, with time. But that kind of makes sense. As long as we don't invalidate it and we don't break back above. But I think it looks like we're getting rejection, so the bear flag should play out pretty well here on Tether Dominance. And we are holding above our 50-day right now. So it would be ideal if we can get a close underneath here and then fall back underneath our 20 and our 200. Because that's going to line up with our horizontal levels of support and resistance. And that will allow price to fall down further. Bitcoin dominance continues to go up. So it looks like altcoin season is just going to continue to get pushed back. And Bitcoin is just showing that it is the biggest and the strongest crypto that there is and that there ever will be. It just continues to show that nonstop. We have this downward sloping trend line, but it looks like it's ready to break out. I'm hoping that we get a push down, but whatever I hope and what I want doesn't mean it's going to happen. Doesn't matter what I want. The market's going to do whatever it wants to do. But I want to see a drop, but it looks like it's ready to break out, honestly. And I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks out because altcoins are still bleeding and Bitcoin is just bleeding less. So, and when Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go up less than what Bitcoin's going up. So Bitcoin dominance just continues to ramp up. Yeah, guys, that's what I have for you here. I want to keep everybody, level-headed and try and block out the noise. Especially if you're a long-term investor, this should be somewhat irrelevant to you. If anything, just an opportunity to buy at a lower price and dollar cost average in over the next couple of years, maybe into the next cycle. It all depends on what you want to do. But I think things are still looking okay. Nothing really has changed. We're just going sideways, consolidating, building up pressure to break out to the downside or to the upside. I think it's going to be to the upside. I think things are still bullish. I know people are feeling very bearish, and I understand why. We've been trending sideways and downwards, so I get it. It makes sense. But I'm still extremely bullish. What I've come to notice is when you're feeling the most bearish and you feel like things are never going to go up, that's when they start to go up. And vice versa. When you feel like things are going to keep going forever and things are just amazing and the stock price is never going to drop, that's when it drops. So it's just basic market psychology. Like and subscribe, share with a friend. I'll see you guys in the next one.